Oh, you all, hi. It looks like I'm just going to be making videos all day today, back-to-back videos. But I just want to say really quickly, the nerve of some people, the nerve of the world, the nerve of everything. And we'll just start from, actually, we'll start from the world and work our way down to social media. So you have the world. So we have we'll say the world war, which is World War III, which is going on right now. You have the war over there in Israel, and the nerve. They want people to stop dying from their country where they're in and stop starving from their country or whatever that's going on in other countries. Stop what they're doing to focus on them. And if you do the research, mind you, I don't know anything about Palestine, but if I do the research on Palestine, what have Palestine done for me or haven't done for me lately? And you will get all crickets. So the nerve of them, the nerve of World War III, or everyone in the world who want to entertain World War III, the nerve of you to want the world to stop, to focus on just you. And another thing too, when we come to the women, the men and women, there was a story of a woman. She was a woman, a mother of 4 children, and she was in a loving marriage with a loving husband. And long story short, comes to find out, her first 3 oldest children, basically children number 1, 2, and 3 out of the 4, were not the children of the husband that she was married to. Now, mind you, the husband has been there since 1 through 4 children, and maybe since before then. But basically, children 2 through 4 were not his. And he said he only learned it because he had to go through, he had to do some type of DNA, something where they had to basically prove that this is your daughter. So I guess they did a DNA on the oldest daughter, come to find out, hey, this isn't your daughter, or you're not related. Like, pretty much like, hey, what are you doing with this young lady, claiming that she's your daughter? He said, no, that is my daughter. This is her sister, and this is, like, so he got the other 2. These are her. Come to find out, the top 3 children are not his, and not only they're not his, they're not the next man's either. So I guess they all have different fathers, and I think the only one that was his was the youngest, the baby number 4. And come to find out, when he asked his wife about it, he's like, hey, I just left this DNA thing with the school, and they're looking at me like, what am I doing with these children? And come to find out they're not mine. And she was just like, what? Are you going to believe that DNA test, or you're going to believe your wife? Now, it's not saying that, hey, none of these children are yours because it was a malfunction. They're saying none of these children are yours because they're not yours. They're not the mailman's. So basically, child number 1 is his, child number 2 is theirs, child number 3 is somebody else's, who's probably still a mystery. So basically, this lady was effing everybody but the husband. That's another thing too. How you got your nerve to be a married man or woman, and you're literally sexing and entertaining everyone but that person that's at home. You got your nerve. So basically, the reason why I say this lady has her nerve is because after it was exposed that, hey, these children are not his children, and if it was, even let's say it was a mistake, like, okay, this DNA test doesn't know what it's talking about, let's get a second opinion. She didn't do that. Instead of her doing that, she kills herself. So the lady commits suicide so she wouldn't have to face the fact that, okay, here I am, got my husband thinking that he has 4 children, and come and find out that he maybe only has 1, which is the youngest. You got your nerve, lady, to go to leave your children that you conceived in sorcery. You leave your children behind. Now they don't have a mother or a father. You shitty son of a bee. And then for YouTube, we're going to start and end with social media. And I mean, I like YouTube. I've been using YouTube for over a decade. I really like YouTube. I literally only started making content maybe a year or 2 ago, but since before then, I'll just be on YouTube, just have my YouTube channel and just watching everyone's videos and just, enjoying YouTube. I really love YouTube. But YouTube have your nerve too. Here it is that YouTube, you can entertain and you can advertise Cardi Bitch, and you can advertise something that's terrible for the youth, something that's terrible for your system, and something that's terrible for your health, and they'll tell that on the mountain. But if I say something to where it's like, hey, something doesn't look right here, or hey, the feds seems to be able to, they can find you stealing out of a grocery store, but you can't find a school shooter, probably because you're in on it, and they'll put that as private. I had 2 videos that actually made sense. I had one where they was pretty much saying people are taking the heartbeat of the dead or taking the brain of the dead and putting it inside of a Build-A-Bear. And there's other machines and other AIs that they use it in, but the 2 that I've seen were for Build-A-Bear. And I said something about it. I made a video about it, and they labeled that video as private. And I made another video before that stating that, okay, there's a lot of people stomping the yard of these major cities, i.e. LA and in New York, and there's people clogging up the streets and clogging up the highways saying, okay, stop the fight in Palestine. But I'm thinking, like, you say free Palestine, but it looks like all of Palestine is here in the U.S. You see what I'm saying? And that was labeled as private. So YouTube, you got your nerve You want to silence what makes sense and advertise the stuff that's toxic for the mind, body, and the soul. And one can argue, well, that's my platform. I can do what I want. I can advertise this, or I can say, I can whisper, don't do drugs, but I can say on the mountain, hey, do Cardi B or Sexy Red, and that's fine. But don't. Okay, when it comes to having a dynamic, okay, my dynamic is, oh, you can only say good things about me, and you can't say anything negative at all, which is cool, because that's the dynamic. But don't say that, oh, due to medical misinformation, or due to not knowing what you're talking about, or due to being anti-Semitic, you have to shut up. Like, no, that's called being a double standard, because medical misinformation is saying, like, oh, okay, go drink a cup of bleach because it's good for your health. Not only that medical misinformation, but that's actually, it's kind of a form of, well, kind of attempted murder too. But you can't really say just because I'm talking about this, that's medical misinformation, while you're giving me medical misinformation by encouraging me to do something that's terrible for my health and mind. Medical misinformation should be you advertising Cardi B, because that's going to be very terrible for the health later on down the line for the future, especially the future of the children. But yeah, there's the nerve of people, the nerve of these entities, and the nerve of the world. Even with, like I say, back to the world thing, it's just the nerve. I want you to stop what you're doing. I want you to stop dying to focus on me. And no, I don't give a shit about you, but I want you to stop what you're doing to focus on me. And if you don't, or if you do, you're going to get fired. The nerve. But yeah, I'm going to try to get those videos unblocked, because they need to be said, and they need to be heard and seen. You know, because it's the things that needs to be said. That's what they want people to shut up about it. And you already know I'm not going to shut up about it. And I don't have to use profanity to get my point across. Sometimes I get frustrated, but sometimes this stuff needs to be said. There's a reason why I'm making back-to-back videos, because maybe every blue moon I'll think of something, and if I don't get sidetracked, or if I don't, procrastinate, then maybe I won't post it. But I literally made 5 or 6 videos back-to-back. I'm thinking like, hey, this need to be said. This need to be... And then, but you block 2 of those? Not necessarily block, but put it as private. So private means only I can see it. So that's basically blocking me. I'm going to try to get those unblocked, because, yeah, people, you need to hear this stuff, damn it. And YouTube, you might want to come off that high horse. I understand I'm using your platform, but, yeah, just don't, the nerve. Don't be a double standard. Don't be a double standard. Keep the BS quiet, too. You want to keep me quiet? Quiet the BS, too. Keep Cardi, bitch, and not so Sexy Red. Keep them quiet. Nicki Minaj, keep them quiet. Censor them, because they're not spewing intelligence. They're not. Silence that. Block all of that sorcery that's on there. In the next school shooting for the Halloween ritual. Stop mass shooting. Hell, you go stop the war in Iran or in Israel. Stop that. Block that. Shit. Anyway, be well, be safe, and I will return.